Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm really glad that you're all here with us today. I am going to make a slight request, and Sandy's already done it, and I happen to know that Sandra is Sandy Griffin, and she says, good morning, friends. It would be really nice if you guys, as you come on, put something down there, and particularly because we often have people that are coming from out of the area. So go ahead and say, Bonnie in Ukiah or Gail in Ukiah. So most of you are in Ukiah, but we have a couple that aren't. And and last week we definitely did. So just so that we all know that you're here, if you can. I know that some of you that are on your phone, that sending a message, sending a chat is a little more challenging, but hey, there you go. That's what we're going to be doing today. I'm trying to think. And just really quick, and you can just, you can just do this for me. For those of you that were on early, was there a plaque that said something about welcome to the virtual service? We'll be starting shortly. Did nobody saw that? Okay. Just trying to figure that one out. I'm trying to figure out ways to alert people that we are here, even if we're not recording yet. So we'll see how that works. So I'm thinking that's all I have to say at this moment. Yeah. So let's begin with a treatment, and I'm going to be doing that today. But I got this treatment from Santa Rosa, from Dr. Edward down there, and he wrote this specifically for first responders, firefighters in mind, and so I thought, yeah, let's just go with that. So if you want, just take a deep breath, relax, close your eyes. There is only one life. That life is the divine. There is one mind. That mind is the divine. The divine is the presence that flows through all that is, through all people, places, and things. That presence is the unifying power underpinning all of creation, residing at the center of all that is. There is one life, and it lives through me, through each of us here. There is one mind, and it thinks through each of us here. Its presence resides at the center of our being, inspiring this prayer. Its presence permeates all that is. Its underlying power connects me to all that is. Through it, we each can feel our kinship with all that we serve. From this awareness, I speak my word about firefighter personnel and other first responders, recognizing their call to service and honoring their courage and strength. I am affirming that the mind that flows through me flows through each of them, guiding, directing, supporting, and steering them. Together we dwell in this awareness of this inner presence so that our every thought embraces all of our first responders, our firefighters, with calm gratitude. I am filled with gratitude that what is known in mind, in our individual minds, is known in the divine mind and is known everywhere throughout creation. I am filled with gratitude that the law of spirit is active, translating this prayer into action in each of us and into our firefighters and first responders. I continue to gratefully embrace all of these who have been spoken of here with appreciation, respect, and thanksgiving. I release this treatment into the creative field, which is the mind of the divine, and rest assured that its law is at work. And so it is. So briefly, what a week. There was fire, there was a lot of smoke, there was the 9/11 memories, there were politics, not to mention all the other individual stuff, our individual health, our interactions, our relationships, the list goes on and on. That can be really distracting. So this has been a really challenging time. It's really challenging for me, and I know just in talking to some of you, it's been challenging for all of us in one way or another. However, I'm getting really clear, and I want to share with you today that no matter what happened last week, that it didn't begin last week. And I'm not just talking about a fire being set or the politics or the challenging remarks that come our way. I'm talking about the consciousness that brought what we're in now into being. And a little bit later, I'll talk about really being ready to take responsibility for my thinking around such things. I did have this one experience this week when I was out and I ran into somebody that I know and that I really care about. And they said to me, "Can you believe?" And I don't know why, for some reason, I got that. It was so clear. Can you believe? And then suddenly I realized that how many conversations, even if it's not exactly the words, can you believe? But the ending remark is always something like, can you believe how red the sky is? Can you believe how smoky it is? Can you believe what that idiot said on national television? Can you believe? And the list went on and on. Can you believe the price of certain things? And it just went on and on. And so I'm just really clear that I'm not as interested in those individual things, but the consciousness that brings us into those conversations and how it perpetuates what we're experiencing. So I guess what I'm talking about or trying to talk about today is the overall chaos that seems to be going on all around us right now. And I'm trying to ask myself more and more, what is mine to do? And when I became conscious at my can you believe moment, what happened for me was a quote from Guru Mai, who is the leader of the Siddha Yoga tradition. And years ago, I heard her speak down in Marin, and somebody asked her about when would there be world peace? What had to happen? And her answer was this: if you would know the source of violence and chaos, look within your own heart. So what I know is I need to look within my own heart, and we all do. But for me, looking in my own heart, a big part of that is a willingness to take responsibility for what I find there. And then to make a new, clear choice and take clear action on what is mine to do. Because there is this inner knower within us that is always going to come forward and is always going to give us direction. I know in my growing up times, I thought of that as hope, but now I really think of that as faith. Do I have faith that things can be different? And when I have this voice that is clearly saying, turn right, not left, and listening to that and having the faith, even though what I think I want to do is left, I go right. So it's like, can we do that? Can we look in our hearts, take that responsibility, make clear choices, and then take clear action? So I'm going to share with you a story. It's a Naz Bruton story. And so this is Sufi tradition. So Nasruddin is traveling, and one day he comes to a village that's pretty far from where he lives. So everything is a little exotic and not what he expects. And there's a lot of things that he does not recognize. But what he does recognize is that he's hungry. And so it's really easy just following the smell of things that he finds his way to a market. And there's little stalls everywhere with all sorts of, again, very exotic, unusual things he's never seen before. But everything looks delicious. So he goes to one vendor who has just this huge pile of what Nasruddin assumes is a beautiful red fruit. And he goes, oh, that would just be perfect for my lunch. And he buys a big bag of them and goes to the end of the stall and sits down and he pops one in his mouth. Well, immediately his mouth is on fire. And so what has happened is it's not fruit, it's red peppers. But he's eating it anyway. And he pulls out another one and pops it into his mouth. Well, now this red pepper is causing his eyes to water, his lips are burning, he can barely speak, and there's just, his nose starts to run, but he just keeps popping one after another. The more pain he's in, doesn't seem to care. He just keeps popping these peppers into his mouth. And finally, the merchant goes over to him and says, why don't you stop eating those hot peppers? You're obviously in pain. And Nasruddin's reply is, I'm hoping to find a sweet one. Good story. So I know I really related. You can think for yourself, how do I relate to that? But I know that I've had some really hard times when I just couldn't stop. I was so invested in my hot peppers. My investment has occasionally been with a job that no longer served me. I've talked to you a lot about Rockwell and go, yeah, I loved working there. I just didn't like the product, needed to be somewhere else. I was kind of like eating hot peppers. Relationships, health conditions, anything personal that we just get invested and we just climb onto it. And no matter how hard we climb onto it, it just doesn't work. It doesn't, and if it doesn't work, there are alternatives. But one of the big alternatives is to stop. And so last week I found myself more than once in the middle of the can you believe, fill in the blank conversations. And I realized that this was my most recent eating hot peppers and hoping that eventually one of the conversations would become sweet and reveal that sweetness and that deeper understanding and compassion, that would be revealed. And I realized that for me, there is a real need to take responsibility, even for those little tiny, seeming totally innocent people just wanting to be supported conversations. But somehow, if I'm in the conversation, then I'm at least 50% responsible for what's going on in that conversation. So I need to look at what my reaction is. But this kind of bigger question came up for me at some point, and this is what it said. Does the universe know the difference between small, obviously self-inflicted pain that we insist upon, and the other? So does it know the difference between that, the small, obviously self-inflicted pain, and the much larger pain that is concerning what is happening in our world? And what I started to realize is just as I insist about on my own small things by supporting them through conversation, through thought, I also insist on that larger problem of, the craziness of the world today. But as far as the universe is concerned, the universal intelligence, the God, the mind of God, does it know a difference? Absolutely not. There is no big and little in the universe. There is no small and large, but there is our resistance to seeing what is true and then taking action. William Shakespeare says, "There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And we choose one or the other all the time." So which are you choosing? Are you choosing to think about things as good? Are you thinking, and how are you participating? Now, don't get me wrong, there really are some awful, awful things happening in our world right now. So individually and globally, but I think it's equally important to really understand that we need to do it differently. And we need to insist, as much as we've insisted for what we don't want to have happen, we want to insist on what we do want to have happen, to truly, truly bring it around. I found this old quote from General Omar Bradley. He was a World War II general for the United States. And on Armistice Day, which was November 10th, 1948, he gave a speech, and he said, and the speech is really lovely, you should all go and read the whole thing. But I'm just going to read you a couple of small, just grabbed them out. First thing is, General Bradley said, "We have grasped the mystery of the atom and rejected the Sermon on the Mount." If you haven't read the Sermon on the Mount, you should go do that. He goes on to say, "Ours is a world of nuclear giants and ethical infants. We know more about war than we know about peace, more about killing than we know about living. To practice freedom and make it work, we must cherish the individual. We must provide everyone the opportunities for reward and impress upon everyone the responsibilities a free person bears to the society in which they live." So part of what that quote brought up for me was the word responsibility. So I'd like you to ask yourself, what is my responsibility? I know personally that I can't fix what happened last week or last year or 20 years ago. I can't justify it. I can't make it right. I can't guarantee that humanity is going to draw the lessons that we need from any of these occurrences. But what I can do, the most powerful thing I can do, is go within my own consciousness and make different choices. Dr. David Walker once said, as metaphysicians, the challenge is always the same: to rise above circumstances and know the truth. So what's the truth? Let's start with this. There really is no yours and mine. There's only us. There is only the combination of who we are in the planet, but that includes everyone. We have to make our us really big. So if there is only us, there's a new way for us to talk about things. And I love this example. Last week, some of us committed negative acts that hurt many of us. If we say them, that there was some of them that hurt us or hurt me, we are then powerless to do anything about it because we know the only place we can change is within our own hearts and our own minds. So let's make it us. Let's change it on the bigger level. And if it's us, we can and we should do something. So I just started with changing that statement from the last week, some of us committed negative acts that hurt many of us, and I changed it to this. Last week, some of us committed selfless acts of kindness that lifted many of us. So maybe that's part of it, is to start to act differently. So what is there to do? What can we do? So I'm going to give you 3 really just quick little notes that I realize can, I can either begin to notice and take responsibility and at the same time change the day. And we all know that we're very powerful. And once we change just our thinking, we change a lot for a lot of other people. So here are the 3 things that you can do to help note and change today. The first one is resist playing the blame game. It's really easy to point at a lot of stuff, and I don't even think I have to do the list, but it's the weather, the climate, the politicians, whatever it is. Can we resist playing the blame game and instead just lift ourselves up and know what we want and how that will work best for us? The second thing is where you feel uncomfortable. This is a hard one for me, but where you feel uncomfortable, bring it up. Go ahead, have the hard conversation. And in that, make amends. And in that, bring it up. Sometimes that's just all just within me, and forgive myself. Deepak Chopra says, every time you are tempted to react in the same old way, ask if you want to be a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future. The past is closed and limited. The future is open and free. So keeping that in mind as I go ahead and I look at where I'm uncomfortable and knowing that I can't just keep doing it the same way. You know, in 12-step, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing in the same way and expecting different results. So can we move into a new place in consciousness? Well, we can, so just do that. The third thing is take a look at who you're spending time with. Are you with criticizers or encouragers? Surround yourself with those who believe in you. Not necessarily in what you believe, but believe in you. Your life is too important to do anything less. Have around you the people that are encouraging and lifting you up. That actually is a step that can, when we all start doing that and living up to our fullest potential, that's going to change the planet. So, okay, I do have one more. Remember who you are. And I mean, remember who you are in that deep, lovely sense of, I am God in action right now. And in this conversation, in this moment, even if I'm alone, in this moment, the internal conversation, I'm in control of that. That God part of me is in control of that. So I know that this is a defining moment in our individual and our collective histories. So how it will look tomorrow depends on you, depends on me today. To look deeply within, for there is an inner voice that is there and ready to guide you. So pay attention, listen deeply, speak with heart. So that's the end of the lesson for today. So I'm going to ask if any of you, we're going to do a closing treatment. And if any of you would like a treatment request or would like to post a treatment request in the chat, now would be your opportunity. I just encourage you to put it in what it is that you would like to have more of in your life. And so even if you feel like you're having a really joyful life, but you want more joy in your life, just put joy. But go ahead and take a second, and we're going to have a minute of silence. And when we come back, I'll do a treatment, and any requests will be acknowledged in that treatment. And if there are no requests, then I'll just do a closing treatment. So join with me again in our silent, loving place. And here's what I know. There is only one thing, and that thing is God. That thing is present right here and right now, everywhere present in all of its manifestations. In this moment of sacred unity with the one power and presence, I rejoice as I recognize that each of us here, right now, live, move, and have our being in this immediate moment. This is the moment of creativity. This is the moment of great change, where this is the moment where we change our thinking. Together we wisely choose new intentions, intelligently operating through the law of the universe and staying in tune with where we are being guided in this perfection, as each of these who are mentioned here recognize the new creative place in their lives. So right here and right now, I know for Sandy that she dwells in great serenity, that she is so in tune with her innermost self, her highest self, that that serenity becomes the daily experience of her life. And as she moves through the rapids of how our world is unfolding, she can do that with peace in her heart and a happy word on her lips. I also know for Harvey that right where he is, that atmosphere of non-judgment sinks deep into his life, into his heart, where he can now openly hear, appreciate, even if not in agreement, what is being said. Understanding becomes part of that non-judgmental place, to totally rest in the sureness that right here too is God is unfolding, and I can see it and I can amplify it even in the places where it appears to be undoable. I know a greater truth that right now, for each of us, that spirit of acceptance, appreciation comes into being in a greater and greater way. I also know for Victoria that right where she is, there is this loving presence that is always with her, always for her, and therefore all of her experience, what happens in her day-to-day life, is always in harmony. That harmony is fully formed and ready to be revealed because she, right now, right here, right now, recognizes in her heart the great loving presence that she is and knows that her presence anywhere brings that harmony into play. And I also know for all of us that in letting go of any thoughts or feelings about regrets, or even from our past successes, we recognize that that is the past and that right here, right now, we are living in an infinite potential, an infinite moment for initiating new glorious beginnings that are unprecedented, are unlimited expression of the magnificence of who we are personified. Together, we easily keep the focus on our individual attentions, on our intentions, our attention, creating and sustaining a new and opulent experience, blessing ourselves and blessing all others, unfolding more and more to the divine potential within us. Together, we gratefully and joyously know this is the truth of our being in each moment of our lives. And I allow you to join me in this new beginning, knowing that all beings are happy, all beings are peaceful, all beings are free, for all beings are God. And we let this be so, and so it is. So now's the time for our offering, or at least for me to talk about offering for a minute. And I want to begin, and I think every week we're going to say something like this. I really want to thank all of you that have been a part of keeping this center going, and particularly since March. It is not without your generosity that the center can operate at all. I also know that in order for this center to be here when we eventually will be meeting both physically, we will probably always still be doing this so that people who want to have this option can, but once we even go back into our building, if we want that building to still be our building, we need to keep being generous and allowing that circulation of wealth and opulence continue to flow through the center also. So currently we have two ways that you can donate. The first one is to mail in a check. I'm going to try something. Okay. And so, can you guys see that? Somebody unmute themselves and say yes or no. I can't actually see your pictures because I'm trying to shoot.
All I see is a very large thing that says something about affirmation.
Yeah, it's cut in half or partially.
Yeah. Oh,
Too big.
Is that true for all of you?
Better. That's it.
Okay.
Through me blesses and
Okay. Well, that's what you're supposed to be able to see, but if you can't, I'm just going to go ahead and take it down. We practiced that last night and it was perfect, so I don't know why.
I saw it perfectly after you made it smaller.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not sure how I did that, so I don't know what to do. Anyway, we do have two ways for you to give. One is to mail your check directly to the center, and the other one is that, and this is my personal preference, is I have made this center a payee in my electronic banking. So by doing that, I get to participate, and I do mine once a month. I have a Sunday picked out, and I go on and I just pay it just like I pay any of my bills. So those are the two ways. We are looking into a PayPal account. It's mostly right now we're trying to determine where we would put that button. So, but for right now, the two that you've got is mail a check or pay through your bank. And all you need is the church's name and address, and you can make up your own account number, which could just be your last name or something like that. So anyway, I just want to remind you that that's happening for us.
I have a question. Can I ask you something?
What? No, because I just muted you. Let's finish out and then you can ask, okay? So I'm going to read, this is one of our offering affirmations for the center. So how about this? Even though you're muted, just repeat after me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies this gift. With all my heart and with all my mind, I know that I am saying yes to something I value. With all others present here, we dedicate these gifts to the values and the visions that we share. And so it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna check something. Oh, there she is, Madge. I just wanted to make sure Madge was here. I just have a couple of quick announcements. And the first one is we are looking for a couple of other things that we could do so that we can continue to connect in meaningful ways. There are a lot of centers that are doing, they're doing classes online, they're doing book studies online. So that's, like a book group. You can pick a book and get a few people and we can help you set that up. We're also looking at a lot of the centers do midweek, and I actually know centers that every day have a check-in where you just can go on and kind of say, how you doing? I'm fine, whatever. So that's an idea. And I also want to encourage you, you can consider this part of your homework for the week. On my personal Facebook page, which if you get the newsletter, that link is there. Every day I post a question. When we get finished here, I'll be going and posting the question for today. They're mostly just for fun. Some of them have actually triggered some really deep thought, but just go and take a look and you can answer the question or not. It's really up to you. I actually got that idea from David Bruner at the San Jose Church, and it's really fun because I'm using a lot of his old questions. I asked him if I could, and he said, oh yeah, absolutely. But now he's answering the questions on my feed. So it's really been fun. So anyway, Madge is here and she's going to sing us out. When she's finished singing, so you guys stay muted. You're totally free to sing along. You're gonna know this song. And so sing along if you want, but stay muted so we don't deal with the feedback. And when she's finished, I'll take you all off mute and we can have some time to visit and socialize a little bit, get to know each other a little bit more. So, okay, Madge, take it away.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I got here just in time. I was on another musical Zoom, and that's keeping me going a lot. And this is, I chose this because Harvey last week said the Serenity Prayer, and it's certainly always a good one to remember, especially in really turbulent times like these. There's things we can do, and there's things we can't do. So here we go. The Serenity Prayer by Judy Field's music. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage, and the courage, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom, and the wisdom, the wisdom to know the difference. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage, and the courage, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom, the wisdom to know the difference. And we never heard Mary's question that she had a little bit ago. So.
Oh, that's right.
Mary?
Okay, so the question regarding using the payee method to contribute. Hello? Oh,
The payee,
yeah.
Yes.
So if someone chooses to use that method to pay the church, how does the church get the payment?
From the
They
bank.
get a check. Your
Oh,
bank
okay. So
sends
they actually
them a
get it.
check. Yeah.
It's not directly deposited into the church's account.
No.
Okay.
So Gail, sitting in the office, gets these bank issued checks. And
Okay, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're issued from my
Your
bank?
bank. Mhm.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
If it's your bank account that you've logged into, and you, just like when you make a pay for, I don't know, the city, PG&E, anything, you put in the name of the company and the address, and usually there's an account number. We don't issue account numbers, but you could put in your last, your last name, or you can put in 11111. You can put in anything and make an account. But then your bank pulls it out of your account and sends it to the church.
Okay, because I get checks from people who are paying me, and these checks come from a company that actually issues checks, and they act as an intermediary between the payer and the person that's receiving the money. So I get a check actually from somewhere in North Carolina who's handling,
Yeah, I don't think that is not what this is about, but
okay.
I don't know why they're doing it that way. I'm sure it works just great for them.
Yeah, whatever.
We're looking for things that will work really great for us.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Candace,
Yeah.
you keep saying you can mail in a check or you can have your bank mail in a check. You know, when people were coming in, they just dropped it in the basket and they didn't need to know that our address is 741 South Oak Street. If you're mailing, you need to know that. So could you, when you say you could just mail us a check at 741 South Oak Street?
Right. And last week we did. In fact, Harvey actually printed the address in the chat so that you guys could see it, and you can cut and paste. It is all there.
Oh, it's backwards.
No, it's not. Not to us. We can see.
No, it looks fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's backwards to you, but the camera keeps it straight. So it's 741 South Oak Street, Ukiah, 95482. That's the address. But you know, there are lots of places you can, if you're getting the newsletter, the address is in there. So there's ways to get it.
Okay.
Anybody else just want to say anything? How your week's been?
Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm actually going to move on, but I want to thank you for
Okay,
Candace. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
So you guys are going to do some visiting?
yeah.
We try to leave some time at the end because we do we do an hour and a half for people to come, and so we try to make the half hour, which is what we're in right now, just socializing.
Okay.
So a lot of, and other people have already left also, but that's really it. I'm not trying to answer banking questions.
Yeah, well, we can
guys
talk about
chat.
that. We can talk about it later.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Candace, I do have a little bit of an announcement,
Oh,
if that would be okay.
Oh, yeah.
We discussed yesterday at the board meeting that we're coming near the end of the year, and that at the end of the year, we are going to need another board member or two. And typically in the past, we would talk to people about that at church and say, you know, would you think about this? Do you think you might be interested? And so we really have no place to do that now except here. And thank God and Candace that we have here. The other thing that I guess I'm ready to let everybody know is that this will be my last year on the board. And so the board is also going to be looking for somebody to step into my role. And as I said, January, when new officers typically come on, I will be done. I'm moving away most probably in April. And so at the end of my term, I'm stepping back. And so you all think about that. If we're going to keep this going, I shouldn't say if, to keep this going, we still need to have a board, and we still need to have, you know, people who care enough about the center to keep the business part of it going. And so think about that. This is our church, and
Yes.
we need people to be part of that. Anyway, thank you.
Right. And we could put that in the newsletter that we're wanting to see that, and But if anybody came up for you guys at the, that you thought, oh, so-and-so might work, you guys should take the initiative, contact them, and see what kind of responses you get. And also our board can operate with, like right now, there's 5 members. It can operate with 5. And be what we call in good standing. We have in the past occasionally only had 4, but it was usually, there was weird circumstances around it. So we just, we waited and didn't fulfill the position right away. And we can do that. We can, just if we had to. But it's something to think about. And I think it is also important that we reach out to more than the people that are showing up here. So feel free to call people, things like that.
I'd like to say something.
Yeah. Teresa, it's very funny because Harvey's picture lights up.
I know.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Teresa, what would you like to say?
I'm incognito. We're both here. My heart hurts that you're moving, Bonnie. And I know that you need to make the best decision for yourself, and I'm sure you did. And I know this COVID time has given people time to more introspection and deliberation about life and stuff. But there's big shoes that you leave,
Yes.
you go. There's shoes to fill. And what you've done for us is beyond, it's hard for me to even express it, but it was a rocky road after you left, Candace, and this board was incredible, and Bonnie was just magnificent. Thank you. I just wanted to, from my heart to yours, Bonnie, tell you how much I
Thank you.
Yes, here, here. Thank you, Bonnie.
Yes, Bonnie.
Me too, Bonnie.
We love you.
The vice president. Yeah, if it weren't for you.
You really did a lot of work, a lot of hard work and diligent and really valuable work for the center.
And Gail.
Yes.
Yes, and Gail.
Yeah.
And Gail.
I appreciate it, Bonnie. Thank you so much for all your service.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. You're not out of here yet.
No, I'm not.
And I'm
And I
not
can
missing
tell you
you.
all the worst is over. The job won't be so hard going forward. I don't want to scare people off. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but then we have to teach somebody new.
Right.
Well,
Again, not
I-
her problem, and we will
Yeah.
work that out.
work it out.
And so, we've had people leave before, and board members, and I mean, I'm going to really miss Bonnie too. She's been amazing. But you guys, there's a ton of potential here, and the remaining board members are really strong. So I'm not worried about this. There are personal feelings that are, I like what Teresa said. When she first told me, which was a while ago, I just, I couldn't say a thing. I was almost like, wow, because she has become such a dominant figure in our center for all that she's done. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. It will all work out.
Right.
It will all work out.
Yeah.
Right.
This is just an appreciation
Right.
of
Yeah.
Bonnie and the years of work and effort that she gave to the center.
Does anyone else have something they'd like to share?
I've been painting a lot of rocks.
Boy, Ashley.
Let's see. Here's one.
Oh, that's cute.
Thank you. And let's see. Here's one.
Wow.
Yesterday was Victoria's birthday, and she came over and she just has them on her phone, and we were all kind of awestruck at how cool they were.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you use acrylics?
So, well, and don't show too many because you're all probably going to get them for Christmas. So
Yeah.
don't show too many.
Do you use acrylics, Victoria?
Acrylics and I guess for acrylic, I use these pens mostly, like this, that are full of color, and there's a couple different size brush tips to choose from, and
But they're waterproof, right?
yeah, and they are waterproof once they're dry, and
Look, Harvey's showing one, Vicki. Did you see that?
no, I only get 4 pictures at a time. Let me go over to Harvey's.
He has one that says blessings.
Ukiah rocks.
Oh,
Oh
Ukiah
yes,
rocks.
Ukiah rocks.
That's good.
That's the Facebook homepage.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah. Cool.
is hashtag Ukiah rocks, and we post some of them on there, and what we do is we take them, and the ones that we can let go of. I've done almost a couple of hundred of them since March, but I have probably 80 of them here, and I'll be letting some of them go soon. But we take them to places around town, businesses. I've left them like by Rainbow Ag and places downtown, and Safeway, and the tractor store, places I frequent, and around the neighborhood and parks. I like taking them to parks and leaving them, and sometimes on Newtown Rocks, someone will show one of mine that they found, or one of someone else's that they found, and we can post just pictures of them and tell where, basically, okay, left these at Todd Grove Park, or
Who knows? Maybe
wherever.
one will end up in Alaska or something.
What?
Maybe one will end up in Alaska.
You just never know.
Just never know.
They get passed around. And I've done a couple of cards. Like I sent Julia, my niece, Julia in Denver, a card that I did the way I did these. I did a mandala and sent that to her. And yeah, the dog is being very interested in things outside. But people are driving by. Luckily, she's been really quiet for this. I'm so grateful to her for being in harmony. Yes, but now she's wanting to play or something. So
are Victoria and Madeline using their phones?
Yes.
And do you have them mounted on something, or are you holding it?
I'm just holding it.
mine. Yeah.
You're just
I
holding
have
it.
my arm propped up on the back of the sofa, and
Yeah.
You guys should invest in one of these. They're really
Oh
cool.
yeah, that's handy.
It's just a little tiny tripod, and you can just put it on
Yeah.
the table. And that's why we have it, because sometimes we have multiple things going. And
yeah.
in fact, well, I'm just going to share a couple of quick little things with the ones of you that are remaining about our church service. because Madge has been on the last 2 weeks and singing a song for us, and she actually had this other commitment, but was willing to leave it early so she could come and do a closing song for us. So I think that's amazing. And in the meantime, because I went, well, maybe we can do music. It makes the service a little longer. But what we're looking to do is have our musicians do 2 songs, kind of like what we did at church, where one will be early, before the lesson, and then one at the end of the service. And that was Madge's idea, but we just haven't been able to figure it out yet to do that second song. But Madge and so because Madge was doing it, I contacted, well, it's really easy to contact David because he lives here. And so I asked David if he would be willing to do a solo occasionally. And that's part of the reason we have this, is because we're going to set up a second camera because the piano is right there. Here, I'll show you.
It's right.
So that's why I could do that, but then we'd see us back. So we've been playing with setting stuff up for him. I also spoke to Calvin, and Calvin is willing to do once a month, and has signed up for October and November, the first Sundays. And all of these people are understanding that it's challenge for the center right now to kind of figure all this out, and we're willing to do it for free. But I talked to the board yesterday, and I said, I don't really think free is, they're perfectly welcome to sign that check back to us, but I think we should pay them. So, and it's going to be like $25. It's not a huge amount, and they can do it from their home. So anyway, I'm just really excited that those people want to do that. So anyway, anybody else? Because we're just about, we're at our 11, we've been on for an hour and 19 minutes. But
well, I want to thank everybody that I saw yesterday. I thought that my birthday coming up, that it would be kind of lonely and stuck in here. And there was a board meeting, so I saw people there. And then I went to lunch with Denise and Bonnie. And then I went over and had blueberry pie and ice cream with candles and happy birthday song. And so I had a really great birthday.
Good.
And thanks all for being here today and being around.
Good.
Blessings all over all of us.
Blessings back to you and to all of you.
anybody else? Well, okay then. So
Okay.
keep
Bye, Candace.
Bye. Keep your treatments up. I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay.
See you
Bye-bye.
next week.